Have you ever wondered why so many older adults wake up at 3:00 a.m. and can't seem to fall back asleep? You might lie there in the quiet darkness, staring at the ceiling and wondering what's wrong with your body or your mind. The truth is, this experience is more common than you think, and it isn't just a random habit or a mere result of aging. In this video, we're going to explore 5 powerful reasons why people tend to wake up around 3:00 a.m. as they age, and what those early morning awakenings may be trying to tell you. Each reason reveals something deeper about your body, your health, and your life experiences. By the end of this video, you may see your sleep in a whole new light. These aren't just surface-level explanations. They are rooted in real physiology, psychology, and the rhythms of aging that most people aren't even aware of. We'll discuss changes in hormones, sleep patterns, health challenges, and even emotional and social influences that could be quietly working behind the scenes. And we'll do all of this in a way that is honest, empowering, and deeply respectful of the life you've lived so far. So if you've ever found yourself waking up around 3:00 a.m. and asking why you're in the right place, stay tuned until the end, because what you learn here might not only help you sleep better, it could also help you better understand and appreciate what your body is going through. Now, let's get started. Number 1, reduced melatonin production. One of the clearest reasons older adults wake up in the middle of the night, often around 3:00 a.m., is the natural decline in melatonin production that comes with age. Melatonin is the hormone that helps regulate our sleep-wake cycle, often referred to as the body's internal clock, and it plays a crucial role in helping you fall asleep and stay asleep. When you were younger, your body likely produced a strong, steady amount of melatonin each night, allowing you to enjoy long stretches of deep, uninterrupted rest. But as the years go by, your body starts to make less melatonin, and that shift can significantly impact how soundly you sleep. You might still fall asleep easily at night, especially after a full day or a relaxing evening, but in the early hours of the morning, around 2:00 a.m., 3:00 a.m., or even 4:00 a.m., that natural supply of melatonin can dip too low to keep you in a restful state. You may find yourself waking up not because of a loud noise or a dream, but because your brain is slowly shifting back toward wakefulness without enough melatonin to hold you in sleep. This isn't something you're doing wrong, and it doesn't mean your body is failing. It simply means your internal chemistry is changing with age. Moreover, the bedroom environment can exacerbate this effect. Even small amounts of light from a street lamp outside the window, a blinking clock on the nightstand, or a hallway light shining under the door can suppress melatonin production even further. As you age, your body becomes more sensitive to environmental triggers, which can make that 3:00 a.m. wake up feel even more frustrating. Take, for instance, Harold, who is now 72 and has always considered himself a good sleeper. Lately, however, he finds himself wide awake around 3:15 a.m. most nights. He doesn't feel anxious or upset. He is just fully alert, as if it's time to start the day. Once he understood that this wasn't a failure on his part, but rather a normal part of aging tied to melatonin production, he stopped blaming himself and began adjusting his habits. Harold now keeps his bedroom darker, avoids screens an hour before bedtime, and takes a brief evening walk to reinforce his natural circadian rhythm. These small changes help signal to his body that it's still nighttime. While he still wakes up early sometimes, he has learned to work with his body instead of against it. This kind of understanding can be a game changer. When you realize that waking up early might not be your fault, but rather a natural chemical shift, you can take steps to support your sleep instead of resenting your body. That's the power of awareness. It turns frustration into compassion and helps you make wiser choices about how you care for yourself at night. Number 2, shifted sleep cycle and advanced sleep phase. Another significant reason older adults tend to wake up around 3:00 a.m. is due to a natural shift in the body's internal clock, a phenomenon known as advanced sleep phase. As we age, our circadian rhythms start to move forward, meaning we may begin to feel sleepy earlier in the evening and wake up earlier in the morning. You might notice yourself nodding off during a late-night movie or waking up without an alarm at dawn, even on days when you wish you could sleep longer. This shift isn't just a matter of habit. It's deeply rooted in biology and can become more pronounced with each passing year. In younger years, The body's rhythm is often aligned with a later bedtime and a wake-up time that feels more in sync with the sun. However, as this rhythm advances, the sleep window naturally shifts forward. You may find yourself falling asleep at 9:00 p.m. or even earlier without intending to, which means your body has already completed its full cycle of rest by the time 3:00 a.m. rolls around. That's why you might find yourself wide awake in the middle of the night, feeling as though your rest is complete, even if it's still pitch dark outside. This doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It simply indicates that your body is operating on a different schedule. Think of it like a clock that has been gently reset over the years, ticking ahead a little more with each season. While this shift isn't harmful, it can be frustrating if your lifestyle, family routine, or personal preferences don't align with this new rhythm. There's also a quiet psychological aspect to this change. Many older adults live in quieter households or spend more time alone, and that peaceful environment can amplify the body's signals to wind down earlier in the day. Without the constant activity or noise that once delayed bedtime, your system begins its nightly shutdown process much sooner. Additionally, if you're no longer working full-time or following a strict daily routine, the lack of external time cues like meetings, commutes, or social gatherings can heighten this internal shift. Let's consider someone like Charles, who is 68 and retired. He often eats dinner around 5:30 p.m. and watches television for an hour before heading to bed. By 9:00 p.m., he's asleep, and by 3:00 a.m., his body is naturally ready to wake up. Initially, he thought he was experiencing insomnia, but once he learned about advanced sleep phase, he realized that his sleep wasn't broken, it was simply rescheduled. Charles began adjusting his evening routine to stay awake just a little longer, reading a book with warm light, taking a gentle walk after dinner, and occasionally calling his daughter for a quick chat before bed. These small social and sensory cues helped stretch his sleep window just enough to shift his wake-up time closer to morning. The result? Fewer 3:00 a.m. wake-ups and a deeper sense of alignment with his daily life. This natural shift in the sleep cycle is something many older adults experience, but few discuss. Understanding it can eliminate a great deal of guilt or confusion and offer a more compassionate way to work with your body instead of resisting it. So if you're waking up around 3:00 a.m. and it feels like you've had a full night's sleep, your body may simply be on an earlier schedule now. Once you recognize that, you can begin to shape your routine in ways that support your well-being. If you're still with us and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you do so and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Your support enables us to continue creating valuable content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, physical discomfort and health-related interruption. Another common reason older adults wake up around 3:00 a.m. is the body's response to physical discomfort or underlying health issues that tend to surface during the quiet hours of the night. As we age, the likelihood of dealing with chronic conditions or subtle health problems increases, and many of these issues have a way of disrupting sleep without sounding loud alarms. They creep in, quietly, like a sore joint, a full bladder, or a sudden twinge in the back. These sensations can be enough to bring you out of a restful state in the middle of the night. Conditions like arthritis, for example, can make it uncomfortable to lie in the same position for hours. You might not notice the discomfort when you first fall asleep, but after several hours of stillness, those aches can accumulate enough to nudge you awake. For others, nighttime acid reflux may disturb their sleep, especially if they've eaten dinner too late or reclined too soon after eating. Even something as seemingly innocuous as dry mouth, muscle cramps, or a slight change in room temperature can trigger a light awakening in the early morning hours when your body's defenses are already more sensitive than they used to be. One of the most common physical reasons older men wake up at 3:00 a.m. is the need to urinate. As we age, the bladder becomes less elastic, and the urge to relieve it can arise faster and more frequently. You might not feel it during the day when distractions keep your mind occupied, but at 3:00 a.m., in a dark and quiet room, that sensation becomes impossible to ignore. Once you get up and move around, even if it's just to the bathroom, your body may have already shifted from deep rest to light alertness, making it harder to return to sleep. Medications, which many older adults take regularly for blood pressure, heart health, or pain management, can also present issues. These medications often come with side effects like frequent urination, changes in body temperature, or increased sensitivity to noise and light, which can quietly affect sleep. You may not even realize the connection between your medications and your sleep pattern until someone points it out or you begin tracking your habits more closely. Take Elaine, for instance, a 76-year-old woman who has always been a relatively light sleeper. Over the past year, she started waking up consistently around 3:30 a.m. After months of thinking it was just a part of aging, she spoke with her doctor and discovered that one of her medications was affecting her hydration levels and increasing her nighttime trips to the bathroom. With her doctor's help, she adjusted the timing of her dosage and added a few lifestyle changes, resulting in less frequent wake-ups and easier returns to sleep. The important thing to remember here is that physical awakenings don't mean your body is failing. They are, in fact, signs that your body is still doing its job. It's responding, alerting, and adjusting. These signals can guide you toward better care and informed choices, leading to a deeper sense of trust in your own awareness. Waking up at 3:00 a.m. may feel like an inconvenience, but it can also serve as a gentle nudge to tune in, check in, and make small changes that promote better health and deeper rest. Number 4. Lifestyle habits that shift your sleep rhythm. Another powerful but often overlooked reason older adults find themselves awake at 3:00 a.m. lies in long-standing daily habits, small routines, and choices that have quietly reshaped your internal rhythm over time. Many older adults naturally begin to eat dinner earlier, wind down sooner in the evening, and engage in less physical activity throughout the day. These seemingly minor adjustments accumulate and signal to the body that night should begin earlier, inevitably pushing the wake-up time earlier as well. When your days become quieter, especially after retirement, your body no longer receives the same external cues it once relied upon, like commuting, running errands, or participating in physically or mentally stimulating tasks. Without those cues, the body's sleep-wake cycle may begin to drift forward. A calm, dimly lit evening with minimal stimulation can prompt your brain to produce melatonin earlier, inducing sleep before you even realize the clock has struck 9:00 p.m. Once you fall asleep earlier, your body simply completes its rest sooner, waking up in those still pre-dawn hours, often right around 3:00 a.m. There's also a subtle relationship between food timing and sleep quality. Eating dinner early, while generally healthy, can sometimes lead to a dip in blood sugar levels overnight, especially if there's no light snack before bedtime. That dip may not feel like hunger, but it can still rouse the body from sleep. Similarly, caffeine consumed in the early afternoon can linger in your system, particularly as metabolism slows with age, gently disrupting your sleep and making you more susceptible to waking up at any disturbance. For someone like Walter, who is 74 and recently retired, these changes crept in gradually. His days became less structured, and his evenings became more relaxed. He found himself having supper at 5:00 p.m., dozing off in his recliner during the evening news, and heading to bed before 9:00 p.m. most nights. Without realizing it, his entire routine had shifted a few hours earlier. Before long, he began waking up around 3:00 a.m. Puzzled about why he was wide awake before the birds even started singing. After reflecting on his routine, Walter began making small adjustments, adding a short walk in the afternoon, reading in brighter light during the evening, and avoiding naps after dinner. These changes helped push his natural sleep window a bit later, allowing his body to align more closely with his ideal wake-up time. What's remarkable is how often we overlook the power of routine. Our bodies crave rhythm, daily patterns that act like signals telling the brain when it's time to rest and when it's time to rise. When those signals weaken or shift, the internal body clock can lose its bearings, leading to earlier and more fragmented sleep. By noticing these patterns and making thoughtful adjustments, it is possible to gently guide the body back to a sleep cycle that feels more restorative and less disrupted. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you do so and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Your support helps us continue creating valuable content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move ahead. Number 5, emotional and psychological restlessness. Sometimes, waking up at 3:00 M has less to do with the body and more to do with the mind. As we grow older, emotional layers that were once buried under the busyness of daily life can start to surface in the quiet of the night. These early morning hours when the world is still and distractions are few often become a stage for unspoken worries, regrets, or longings to stir. You may find yourself lying awake not because of noise or pain, but because your mind is quietly sorting through memories, unresolved thoughts, or subtle anxieties that you didn't realize were still present. This kind of restlessness is different from the full-blown anxiety that might strike in youth. It's quieter, more reflective. It can feel like a soft hum in the background, a sense that something is unsettled, even if you can't quite name it. When not actively engaged, the mind often reaches back into old relationships, past decisions, losses endured, or words left unsaid. Because the body is no longer rushing from one responsibility to another, there is now space for those thoughts to resonate a little louder. It's also important to recognize that loneliness can play a significant role here. For many older adults, social circles shrink with time, children move away, friends become busy, and routines change. While the day may be filled with light and activity, nighttime brings quiet and with it an awareness of that emotional gap. This kind of loneliness doesn't always feel heavy sometimes. It manifests simply as a desire for connection or a faint ache for someone to talk to when the house is still. Consider someone like Gloria, who is 80 and widowed. During the day, she remains busy tending to her garden, calling her grandchildren, or watching her favorite shows. However, around 3:00 a.m., she often finds herself waking up, her thoughts drifting back to moments she shared with her late husband, or to worries she keeps tucked away during daylight hours. Initially, she believed something was wrong with her sleep, but over time she came to understand that her early awakenings weren't about sleep at all. They were her heart asking to be heard. To support herself, Gloria began keeping a small journal by her bed. When she woke up, she would write down whatever was on her mind, nothing fancy, just a few honest thoughts. She also added a quiet evening ritual, like listening to soft music or writing a short note to a friend. These little acts of reflection and connection provided her emotions a gentle outlet, easing her mind and helping her to return to sleep more peacefully. The truth is, the human heart doesn't follow a strict schedule. It remembers what it wants to remember, asks the questions it needs to ask, and sometimes does all this at 3:00 a.m., when everything else is quiet. But that's not a flaw. It's a sign of depth. If you find yourself waking up and feeling reflective, it might mean you're carrying wisdom that's ready to be acknowledged. You've navigated through joys and heartbreaks, and those experiences shape not just your memories, but your very sense of self. Instead of viewing these wake-ups as something to fix, try approaching them with curiosity and kindness. What is your mind trying to tell you? What do you need to give voice to? What part of you needs a little grace, even in the dark? Sometimes the most meaningful kind of rest comes not from ignoring these moments, but from honoring them. In doing so, you may find not only better sleep, but also a richer understanding of yourself in this stage of life. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, I invite you to take a quiet moment to reflect on everything you've just heard. What resonated with you the most? Was it the shift in your internal clock, the subtle changes in your health, or perhaps something deeper, a psychological rhythm that reveals itself only when the world is still? Each of these 5 reasons offers a different lens through which to understand your early morning awakenings, and none of them signifies something wrong or broken. In fact, they each reveal how deeply your body and mind are still working, still responding, and still adapting as you move through this stage of life. There's a quiet power in understanding what your body is trying to say, especially in those soft hours before dawn. Rather than seeing 3:00 a.m. wake-ups as nuisances, begin to view them as messages, gentle signals, reminding you to listen a little more closely to your needs, your habits, and your heart. You're not alone in this experience, and you're certainly not the only one searching for answers. But with insight comes strength, and with strength comes the freedom to make small, meaningful changes that support better rest, deeper comfort, and a stronger connection to your own rhythms. If you've recognized yourself in any of these reasons today, know that you're not just aging, you're evolving. With that evolution comes an opportunity to rest more intentionally, to care for yourself more gently, and to greet each morning with a bit more understanding and peace. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you, so please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating valuable content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.